Welcome back to the life of Vitellius Caesar, episode 16. I believe when I was looking at the transcript on my automated AI show notes for our last episode,
Right.
I give the transcript to ChatGPT and ask it to create show notes and like a one paragraph description.
Yeah.
It said, on this episode, Cameron and his guest, Ray Harris, blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
That's about right.
I think that would hold up in court. Based on the amount of content you
Right.
contributed,
Right.
the AI
Yes.
figured you were just some sort of a ring-in
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
happened to be walking past. And I said, hey, can you just keep this seat warm for a second?
Yeah. My my contribution is not unlike my lovemaking, short but insignificant. So I do what I can. It's raw talent. It's natural raw talent. Anyway, you were probably going to say something else.
Well, I believe you're going to start this episode by contributing.
Yes.
Your contribution is going to come fast and hard and early.
Fast and furious. Yes. So I just
get it out of the way.
Exactly. So for whatever reason, probably the edibles, I don't want to give too much credit, but I forgot everything we talked about before when it comes to the Caesar series. And you and I were on the emails going, what the fuck were we talking about? So anyways, so here's a quick synopsis to catch us up so we can then dive in. Okay. So here we go. So previously on the year of the four
Born in
emperors,
Philadelphia, born and raised. What?
I can't remember. Anyway, so on the modern day German Netherlands border, there were some Germanic tribes. And these people, in their own special ways, had been wronged by Romans over the centuries. Who hasn't been wronged by the Romans? Let's be honest. So obviously now in 69, there's a civil war going on in Rome. And Vitellius has sent people out to try to recruit some of these people to help fight for him. That's what you do. Anyway, so there is this one Batavian noble or royal called Julius Civilis, who we disrespectfully nicknamed Syphilis, because it's just so much easier to remember. So I'm going to refer to him as Syphilis, but remember, Syphilis is royalty. Syphilis is a prince. Okay, so little respect, please. Thank you. So anyways, his tribe does not contribute money to Rome each year, but what they do contribute is men when called upon. In fact, Syphilis had been with the Romans for at least 25 years. In fact, he was there in Britain in 43 fighting. So again, not insignificant contributions Syphilis has made. So anyway, again, there's another civil war going on in Rome, and he sees an opportunity. And what he wants to do several things with this opportunity. One, he hates the Vitellians for past wrongs. So he wants to support Vespasian, get revenge on the Vitellians, gain liberty, even more liberty for his tribe, and maybe make himself the leader of his tribe. And so he's thinking in August of 69, my time has come. So Civilis is thinking my time has come. So anyways, the man who is opposed to him, but yet does not know that he is opposed to him, is Marcus Flaccus, a senator, a former Suffolk consul, and he is now currently the commander of the Rhine Army. Okay, now, but as far as this Flaccus knows, Syphilis is an ally because, again, he has fought for Rome for decades on and off. So anyways, Syphilis contacts Flaccus because there's been some kerfuffle in northern Germany, and Flaccus is wondering what's going on. Syphilis writes him, he goes, look, tell you what, don't worry about it. I got this. I'll handle this. I'm still loyal to Rome. I'll find these troublemakers. It's me. And I will deal with them. So don't worry about it. Flaccus says, okay, you got that. But what Syphilis was really doing, Syphilis is sneaky. I don't know if you know that. You got to protect yourself from Syphilis. Syphilis was really buying himself time, and he's given himself freedom of movement so he can go around, he can fight, he can do whatever. Flaccus will think that he is, doing it for the thing of Rome. So anyways, but what's going to happen is word's going to get back to Flaccus what Syphilis is really up to. So very quickly, Syphilis is not just the of the Vitellians. He becomes the enemy of Rome. So he's now playing a very big game because no matter what happens, Vitellius or Vespasian, someone's going to win. There's no way you can destroy the Roman Empire at this point. Someone's going to win. So he now has to put all of his money on Vespasian and really, really hope this guy wins. But anyway, so Syphilis has now got 15,000 men. 9 trained cohorts. These people have trained with the Romans. They have fought with the Romans. They know how the Romans fight. And so that's what makes them an extra risk if they decide to go against Rome. So he's got all these men. The Batavian cohorts, the auxiliary, have left the Romans. They're now with syphilis. Everybody's got syphilis, or syphilis has got everybody. I don't know. And so again, it's a respectable force. So in northern Germany, there's a
make syphilis respectable again. That was his motto.
Exactly. Yeah. Number one, syphilis is number one. Exactly. So in modern day northern Germany, there is a Roman fort called Vetera. Now, this isn't just any fort. This is one of the most significant forts in the northern flank of the Roman Empire. If this thing falls, it's a big deal. Inside of there are 5,000 Roman troops who are generally loyal to Vitellius, but the leader is kind of a Vespasian man because he's looking at these two and going, I think Vespasian's going to win. So anyways, Syphilis has got all these men, and he first, because again, this is as part of his shtick. He says to his men, "You all have to swear loyalty to Vespasian." They're like, "Yeah, we don't fucking care. We'll do whatever. We just want to kill Romans." And who doesn't? Can you blame him? So they all swear allegiance to Vespasian. Then he sends word to the fort, Vetera, and he says, "Tell all your men inside to swear allegiance to Vespasian." Now the guys inside, it doesn't matter what their true loyalties are, because one, this guy is a foreigner. He's betrayed them and he's killed Romans. They're going to say no to anything. So their answer is, and I don't know what this is in Latin, fuck you. So it's on like Donkey Kong. 5,000 men in a fort, 15,000 men, again, Roman trained warriors are coming down. It's on. And now we have to see who's going to win this. But that is where we left off. That brings us up to, as far as I remember, the modern point. So again, this is a very important battle. However, it may go, Germany may go as well.
Wow.
Thank you. I just want to slip in Civilis jokes. That's the only reason I did.
Good job. Good job.
Now I'm done for the rest of the show. Go ahead.
Well, so Flaccus, we said last time that Flaccus and his commanders didn't want to risk a second military gaffe.
Right.
When they're being attacked by Syphilis and his Batavians.
Right.
So
it's a band. Syphilis and the Batavians. Sorry. Go ahead.
So this is a Castra Vetera. So he decides to wait for instructions from Rome.
Right.
But he orders his troops just to stay in their barracks, which the men conclude that this is because he's doesn't want them to attack the traitors, which means that he's probably a traitor too.
Aha.
And they're angry about that. Flaccus is not very, people don't, when you all of a sudden turn flaccid.
Yeah.
When you do feel like it's a traitor. I don't know.
It feels like a betrayal.
Flaccid.
Oh.
A betrayal. That's
a few times.
When you don't want to be flaccid and you're flaccid, you're like,
It happens to everybody.
You had one job.
Right.
Well, two. But right now, only one that matters.
The first one isn't the most important. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Flaccus was now flaccid, and his men don't know if they can trust him. Is he on the right side?
He's making his men be flaccid.
Exactly.
So they're barricading themselves in, but for whatever reason, and you have to, I guess, blame Flaccus for this.
Right.
They neglected to protect their supply lines, which, look, protecting your supply lines
101
when you're being surrounded by an enemy your camp is being laid siege to is difficult.
Right.
We know that. We've on one of our other shows, we've spent what seems like months talking about the siege of Antioch, and everyone's starving because they can't get their supply lines in.
Right.
So the troops are barricaded in. Their supplies get plundered by the Batavians. They're quickly running out of food.
Yeah.
Encircled by Syphilis.
That's the worst.
And his army is now huge.
Right.
And because the Batavians had worked with the Romans for at least 25 years, as you said. They understand Roman tactics.
Oh, I got
They
this.
know how to lay siege.
Mm-hmm.
They tried building siege engines. They tried mounting a testudo. They tried placing ladders up against the ramparts.
Right.
The Romans know how to fight back against their own
We thought this up.
siege tactics.
Yeah. You're using, it's you, not me on me. I invented that. You know, it's kind of like that thing. So it's like when you had that Barbie and G.I. Joe and you were showing me the techniques. Yeah. You can use it against me, but I am the master, you know, and so it all falls apart.
What it reminds me is we were doing sparring at Kung Fu yesterday. And at one point I was sparring with one of the gold belts. It's like the highest, level 10. I'm level
Trump belt.
5.
Gold belt.
He's level 10. Yeah, Trump level belt. Yeah. He's been doing it for 15, 16, 17 years, right?
Wow.
And I was saying, I'm struggling to pull off this technique basically with him. And he said, well, yeah, you obviously have to understand that I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you do it.
Right.
So he said, what would work outside in a fight doesn't work in here because we know what everyone's trying to do and we're not going to let you do it. So same sort of thing here with the Batavians and the Romans. Tacitus has a great section on this. He says the Batavians had raised a tower 2 stories high, which they brought up to the Praetorian gate of the camp where the ground was most level, but our men pushing forward strong poles, something wasn't flaccid, their poles weren't flaccid, that's good, and battering it with beams broke it down, causing great destruction among the combatants on the top. The enemy were attacked in their confusion by a sudden and successful sally. All this time, many engines were constructed by the legionaries, who were superior to the enemy in experience and skill. Peculiar consternation was caused by a machine which, being poised in the air over the heads of the enemy, suddenly descended and carried up one or more of them past the faces of their friends, and then, by a shifting of the weights, projected them within the limits of the camp. Syphilis, giving up all hope of a successful assault, again sat down to blockade. Now, reading Tacitus's description of this machine, it sounds like some sort of a cherry picker that went up, descended, grabbed the guys, then turned into a catapult, flicked them over the walls or something. I'm like, Leonardo da Vinci was around?
Who he had free time. So here's the thing. I want to be the guy who goes, okay, I want you to get in this bucket and I'm going to put you, the one guy with a really good attitude. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I'm going to put you right in the middle of 20 enemy troops. Go with God. You know, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I don't know. I mean, it's a start, but it probably didn't end well.
I just don't understand why we don't have designs and plans. We've never heard about this before. It could go over a rampart.
Like a crane almost, or something. I don't know.
Kick up. I wonder if it comes down. It's like imagine like a cherry picker made out of wood. It descends on the other end, goes over the wall, comes over. You're the enemy on the outside. You see this thing come over the wall, descend down to the ground level, and you look at your friend. You're like, all right,
that's cool.
I'll give it a go. Like they're inviting us in, maybe. That's nice. They're inviting us inside. All of a sudden, it picks you up,
the gold belt,
and drops you in the middle of the enemy camp.
That's
like, honestly, in retrospect, I should have seen this coming.
Stay away from the big arm. Jumping
on the big arm was not my best moment.
It was his last.
Meanwhile, Flaccus had sent messages out to Gaul to try and collect auxiliaries to support his legions that were being attacked by the Batavians. But Gaul, as we said last time, is in pretty much full rebellion now. So, or they've been sucked into Italy by Vitellius. So the Roman troops have mostly been sucked into Italy to fight Vespasian.
The
auxiliaries that were left in control of things. Hey, listen, Gauls, would you mind just holding the fort while we go and fight a civil war in our home country? Sure. Yeah. No worries.
Hold
listen,
the fort.
Yeah, whatever you do, just keep an eye on the silverware and the loot. Oh, yeah, the silverware and the loot. Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
You want me to look after the women? Sure.
Yeah.
No,
I will take good care.
Really good care. You don't you worry about. You go back to Italy and take care of.
Yes.
Oh yeah, don't you worry about a thing.
Don't even check on me.
Sorted.
Don't even send me a letter.
Please don't come back for at least 30 minutes.
Just consider it
if that'd
handled.
Be okay.
Handled. Yeah. Which one's your wife? No, just consider it handled. Well, yeah, no, so that's not going to work. Yeah.
He himself traveled with a fleet to the Rhine
to
go. I mean, okay, so when you're the commander.
Right.
He's the commander of the whole area.
Yeah,
so
big cheese.
One could suggest that when your troops are being besieged and are surrounded by the enemy, as the commander, you might want to stay there and take command.
Right.
As your title suggests, of the situation.
Yeah.
But he was a delegator. This is what people don't understand about Flaccus. He was known as Flaccid the Delegator.
Right.
He would why don't you, can you take care of this for me?
Yeah. And I don't mean,
test.
Right, exactly. Yeah, handle this for me. Yeah, and just to add another wrinkle to it real quick, just south of this in Mainz, Germany, there's other Germans attacking Roman forts there. It's going to fail, but the point is it puts pressure on whatever forces are still loyal to Rome there. They can't come up and help. So again, this is almost like, even though it's an important fort, it's almost cut off from everywhere else. They're kind of on their own. They either going to win together or not. We'll see what happens.
It was an important fort, or just an import fort.
Import
fort.
They import export.
They would call it.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing, if I could.
In a word, either freedom will follow on our efforts, or if we are vanquished, we shall but be what we were before.
Oh, we got nothing to lose, so we're going for it. This summer, coming to you in a theater, Syphilis is on the road to revenge, making a huge comeback, and this time, he's coming for everybody.
It burns. The revenge of Syphilis. It burns. Yeah, he was doing Vestadio.
That's so good.
Syphilis Part 2, The Burning.
Yeah. Part 3, the ointment doesn't take. But anyway, I don't want to get ahead of us. Yeah. So but he's right. I mean, and we talked about this before, where Caesar was subduing Gaul. He goes, look, I get it. You want to be free. Who wouldn't want to be free? I'd want to be free, but your asses are not free. And if you keep fucking with me, I'm going to keep chopping off hands. So the point is, if I'm a slave or I'm subdued, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to try. And if I win, yay. And if I don't, I go back to being a servant. So you roll the dice.
Like I'm going to put a contemporary perspective on this, because I had this discussion with a guy the other day.
Right.
We were talking about Gaza and Hamas.
Oh, right.
And this was a Russian guy, by the way. And he's like, well, Hamas are terrorists. I go, they're fighting for the freedom of their people.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a terrorist. That makes you a freedom fighter.
Right.
And it's the same as the Houthi that your government just bombed a bunch of women and children.
Right.
And all of the media is about the fact that they discussed doing that on Signal, not the fact that America just killed 50-odd women and children in a missile attack.
Yeah.
Which is typical. But, when people are fighting because they're oppressed, that doesn't make them terrorists. That makes them people that are sick of being oppressed and they're fighting back.
Yeah, they're desperate.
You can, just because the people they're fighting against want to call them terrorists does not make it so.
Exactly.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Unless you're just using it as a purely literal description of the form of combat that they're taking. I mean,
right.
Yeah, like guerrilla attacks is designed to strike terror into
Exactly.
the heart of the enemy or the
characteristic, something. There's a word there somewhere. Yeah. But you're right. Yeah. Because you can't fight by normal means. I don't have tanks. I don't have planes. I don't have bombers. I don't have bazookas. I've got rifles and I got some explosives and I know the land better than you. I'm going to use what I have because I have no other choice. That's the way it always is. So anyway.
Yeah. So then, after he gives this speech, Syphilis uses a part of his forces to attack Count Vocula.
Right.
He attacked during the day because Count Vocula was asleep.
He's at his weakest. I think you'll find.
Who disturbs my rest?
Sorry. That was wrong.
And the Romans were so surprised by the fact that they were being attacked by Germans who had already attacked them.
Right.
They got massacred.
Yeah. Not looking good. Is that because I'm a little hazy on this? Is it later on that Flaccid has a downfall? I don't want to mess up the storyline. I'm just trying to remember compared to the fort being sacked when or is he already gone? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I think that happens a bit later.
Okay,
his troops turn on him. He gets killed as well.
Okay. So again, the fort and the leader gone. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, when this attack happens, though, there were some reinforcements coming from somewhere, some infantry that heard the noise of the battle as they were approaching the camp. Right. They attacked the rear of the Germans. You always like being attacked from the rear, but in this case, it caused panic amongst the Batavians. So that enabled the Romans to get some payback, although they'd already lost a lot of troops in the battle. The two sides gave battle the next day. During this battle, Syphilis was thrown to the ground. His horse got shot out from underneath him. And this led to rumors that he had been wounded or killed, which spread panic amongst his troops and encouraged the Romans. The Germans retreated. Vocula took the opportunity to strengthen the rampart and the towers of the camp instead of giving chase.
Right. Yeah.
But then we have to get back to what's going on with Vespasian.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick that Syphilis is not dead? Obviously, he was thrown from the horse. It looked bad. But then again, a very insensitive Roman probably yelled out something like, "Hey, I hope your wife brings a date to the funeral." Just real dicks. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, So the point is he's not dead and he vowed, and this is the scene that we're going to be shooting in the movie tomorrow. This is where he looks right into the camera and he goes, "I vow to return." So he's not done yet. Yes, stumbled, but he's not done yet.
All right. We'll be back next time with Vespasian. What's going on in the Vespasian world?